Okay, good afternoon, everybody. How's everybody doing? Welcome. I'm Michael Dukes, Director of Center for Land Use Efficiency with IFAS, and here we are at the 5th Urban Landscape Summit. It's been 3 years since we had this event. It's been a long time, so it's good to see you all. I'm glad you all made it out today, and welcome you to the next day and a half of this event. And if you're staying for the in-service training on Thursday, I'll see you there as well. And our Zoom folks can hear us. Okay, I'm getting nods up here from our Zoom monitors. We are streaming this live, so if you're on Zoom, you should hear the talks. If you have any issues, let us know and we'll address those. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce some of our guests that are here today. We have Dr. Scott Angle, Senior Vice President of IFAS, sitting right over there. We have Dean Andra Johnson, our new Extension Dean, who you're going to hear a few words from in a few minutes. Dr. Saqib Mukhtar, I saw him come in the back, Associate Dean of Extension and Program Leader, Ag Natural Resources. Welcome, Saqib. We've got Mr. Ed Bravo, past President, FNGLA, and with Big Trees here in Alachua County. Thanks, Ed, for coming out. And there is one other person who unfortunately was not able to make it today. I believe he's on Zoom. I don't know if you all can tell. Ben Belusky, CEO of FNGLA. He reached out to me this morning and said he's got a little cold and just wants to be precautionary. And so we wish him the best on that. But you're going to hear more about Ben in a little bit. So I'd like to introduce our keynote today. Today, we're fortunate to have our new extension leader, and that's Dean Andra Johnson. And he knows a little bit about trees, I'm told. So here's what you might already know about him. Dr. Johnson became the Dean for Extension and Director, Florida Cooperative Extension Service on November 1st. He has a PhD in urban forestry, so he's well suited to the few talks that we're going to have here kicking off the summit. He's worked in teaching, research, and extension at 3 other land-grant universities, including 2 1890s institutions. He comes to us from Penn State, where under his Penn State Extension leadership, he worked with the Pennsylvania Landscape and Nursery Association. They developed new online training series aimed at new and seasonal landscape industry employees. So there's a lot of parallels with what's been going on in Florida. What you might not know about him, though, is in addition to Doctor, Dean, and Director, he has a 4th title, and that's Dad. He has a 13-year-old son who's in 7th grade. He's also a pastor, but I don't know if he's active yet in a church in Gainesville. He played college football at Southern University, and he shows his support for citrus by drinking a daily post-workout smoothie made with orange juice, yogurt, honey, bananas, and berries. That sounds very healthy. When he was growing up, his mother convinced him that lemons would help lower blood pressure and cure headaches. So to this day, he always keeps lemons in his home. His favorite tree is the live oak. So he's right at home here in Tree City. Dean Johnson, welcome to IFAS, to CLU, and to the Urban Landscape Summit. We're glad to have you and look forward to your keynote. So thank you for being here today.
Thank you. Good to see everyone. And for those that I've met already, it's good to see you. And for those who I haven't, I look forward to meeting you at a certain point. So I am certainly excited to be here and to be a part of this and this great work. For those that don't know, I grew up in a small little town in North Louisiana, and I really had very little downtime. I would spend my summers working in the cotton field, the soybean field, or cornfield, or chasing cattle, or some of the swine that we had. And I would spend my winters chopping wood for my grandmother's fireplace. I always knew that I would do something in agriculture. I always knew that I would do something, because I always had this burning desire to really kind of help my family and my father and my uncles get the resources that they needed to really be profitable and successful. And so I majored in an agriculture related field, but little did I know that I would spend the majority of my career working in urban landscape. As a professor in Louisiana, I taught dendrology, I taught urban forest management and evaluation, I taught urban design, I conducted research on urban ecosystem services and carbon sequestration and carbon storage by utility compatible trees. I was fortunate enough to develop urban forest management plans and to work on different ordinances for some of our smaller municipalities throughout the state. But needless to say that I have this great interest in greening and the greening of spaces where most of us happen to live. I'm really looking forward to some of the talks that are coming forward, particularly Dr. Klein's talk that's coming up a little after mine, dealing with risk assessment, primarily because I can remember the first time I got introduced to the tree radar system. For some of you that don't know, the tree radar system is this system that really is designed to look at the inner workings of a tree without actually being destructive. So it not only looks at the inner workings, but it also looks at the below ground structures, and you can kind of see somewhat of what's going on. And so I had this opportunity to utilize this instrumentation on the Capitol grounds in Louisiana to look at their live oak trees, to see if there is a possibility for any kind of risk associated with those trees. I'm still getting acclimated to Florida. And so I'm really passionate about the Florida of today and the Florida for tomorrow. My wife and I just recently started to look for a home. We found it very difficult. So we decided that we would build. And so we happened to meet with the developer, and the developer showed us, initially I asked, what are your landscape plans? I couldn't help it. I had to ask, what are your landscape plans? What are the options? And so he showed me those plans. And I said, wow, okay. He knows a little bit of something about Florida-friendly landscaping. And so I was excited about that. But what that really lets me know that the work that you're doing is making a difference. When I think about some of the goals that I have, again, I've been here now almost for 6 months. Seems like time has been flying by. Almost 6 months, really learning all things Florida and its tremendous diversity. And really the tremendous work also that's taking place across the state. And so I'm really excited to be here, excited to be a part of Extension, because one of the things that I see, one of the central focuses that I see is this tremendous growth that's taking place in Florida. I've heard estimates of roughly about 1,200 new people a day, which is almost unbelievable. The number of people that are constantly coming into this state. And that creates all types of challenges, creates all types of issues. And when we think about the pressures that exist, I recently had the opportunity to read Water 2070. And after having read this, it reminded me of this work by Blair Shepard, 10 Years to Midnight. Both of these really highlight the urgency of the right now. They both really highlight the urgency of the right now, because if we don't do something right now, we risk losing tremendous. So now is the time to do something. to better manage our water and our natural resources. And so in Extension, my vision is to take a stronger role in educating policymakers and leaders who can drive systemic change. If we can educate our developers, even more so, we have an opportunity to see real change take place. So I think I'm really interested in that. And more broadly speaking, Extension will make a concerted effort to educate even more Floridians on land management, because what we do across sectors will impact our landscapes. The question is, how do we hold on to critical green spaces, including our farms? The work we do to help our farmers stay in business will determine how much of their land stays green, or how much of it turns into paved land, how much it turns into buildings and impervious infrastructure. It's important for us to think about how do we help them to remain profitable and sustainable. Thus, we recognize that will decrease waste. It also will help us to achieve so much more. So this means educating our farmers on environmental protection, pest management, succession plans. In short, what do we do to help them make the best decisions for their land and also for Florida? I also want Extension to be the place where our homeowners are also educated on how they could best manage their properties to reduce water. So how are we going to do this? Part of this is going to be county by county. I'm following, in essence, the footsteps of Dr. Engel, who just recently completed his 67 Florida county visit, because he recognizes that our officials, our county officials, are critical, and we need them as partners. And so I'm also visiting our counties as well, spending time with our faculty that are in the counties, also meeting with our stakeholders to further reinforce these relationships and reinforce the fact that we need them. And so I made a little bit of headway. I tried my best to catch up with Scott, but it just didn't work. So I've already conceded. I'm just trying to do as best I can to kind of move and make it to all of our counties. I want us to also build our infrastructure so that we can deliver more information to more people. So one of the things that I'm always constantly thinking about, how do we deliver more information to more people? How do we get information to people when they want it, how they want it, and where they want it? How do we be that one-stop shop? How do we create information where 24/7 you can get information? A place, not only a place where you can get face-to-face information, but a place where you can get information as soon as you hit the button, as soon as you make a clip on the website, you can get the information. Our stakeholders can get the information that they need. And not only the information they need, but we want information to be so comparable to a face-to-face environment that they are comfortable with it. And they're comfortable with going online and being a part of those activities. We've already hired a new person to help in our instructional design and implement some of those lessons we've learned throughout the pandemic about reaching people who can't come or even won't come to some of our offices. And again, one of our primary goals is how do we create content in that online setting that is quite comparable to a face-to-face setting. And so we've already established a working group to really look deeper into what that looks like. And so I celebrate Dr. Sakab Mukhtar, who's taken on the challenge to help in that regard, along with all of the others who have really taken part and recognized the need to really create content and to really serve our stakeholders and even a new stakeholder in a different capacity. So on the tours that I'm going on, I'm really looking for people to share with me how they want information, how they like information. I'm looking for them to tell me some of the challenges that they are experiencing, tell me some of the good things that's happening, and really just to share their thoughts on things that we can do to improve, things we can do to really get information out. But one of the things that's quite evident is that in order to do all of this, we need resources. And we are extremely excited and appreciative of all our legislators for supporting an increase in our workload budget. Now we're waiting for our governor to sign off on that, but we're really excited and so appreciative for the work that they've done, appreciative of the work that our stakeholders have done in order to support our priorities and support the budget moving forward. A permanent increase in our annual budget really gives us an opportunity to continue to grow and support our personnel to keep up with the growing needs of our clientele. We're also appreciative for our legislators are also approving roughly about $2.5 million for the Florida-friendly landscaping. And again, as we wait on our governor to sign forth, we're just excited about the possibilities of that and what that can actually do. And so we'll be really thinking through how do we put more emphasis into new SSA positions? How do we put more emphasis in some of our support staff that's needed and really thinking about how do we move things forward. So we are extremely excited about where we are, but we're also excited about where we're hoping to be. One of the things that I continue to emphasize with our faculty and with our other stakeholders is that my desire is that for University of Florida IFAS Extension to be the premier extension unit in the country. And so that will take the help of all of you guys in the room, all of you guys that are listening online, our stakeholders. That will take all of our help in order to get us to that particular place. One of the things also I see Extension doing is doing more credentialing. In the future, I see us doing more micro-credentialing and more badges, more fee-for-services, where we can begin to see this kind of cycle of revenue being generated, but also that revenue being reinvested back into our programs, back into our activities, so that we can continue to build and continue to grow. We can certainly do more, and we will do more. In conclusion, as I mentioned earlier, my tenure here has been relatively short. I'm still getting to some parts of the state for the very first time. And I'm convinced that the only way that I can really be effective is not really in Gainesville, but across the state. Across the state, interacting with our stakeholders, interacting with our faculty members, really getting to know and really getting to understand not only our state, but also some of the things that are going on. And so the more I travel, the more I understand really how much I just simply don't know. And so this is where you guys become so important, because I'm leaning on you to really help fulfill the mission and the vision that we have for IFAS Extension. Whether that's in urban landscapes or traditional agricultural operations, we really need your help and your assistance. Agriculture, as you know, has evolved since the days of primarily working to help produce cheap food and raising farmers' incomes. The challenges that we're facing now are much more complex, and we're facing changes in our demographics, we're facing changes in our agricultural conditions, our marketplace, technology, customer expectation, funding expectation, institutional expectations. So there's a lot of challenges. There are a lot of changes that are constantly being made, but I am certainly convinced that you are the solution. The people in this room, the people listening, the people that we work with on a daily basis, you are the solution. And those solutions will require multi-state, multidisciplinary, multi-institution, and this integrated approach for us to really be successful. And again, the good part is you guys are the solution. And so I want to welcome invitations to visit your demonstration garden. I welcome invitations to visit the events that you have, and I welcome invitations to visit the meetings that are taking place throughout this state. I will do my best to be there, but I look forward to the invitation. I look forward to meeting you. I look forward to interacting with you. I look forward to a brighter, vibrant Florida. Looking forward to it. Thank you, guys.